All right, ready for this? Today we're going deep, really deep, like to the center of the earth, deep.
Sounds intense.
It is. We're talking underground civilizations.
Oh.
But not just like ancient myths and legends.
Oh.
Yeah, we're going full-on conspiracy theory mode. Claims, evidence, the whole 9 yards. People actually believe this stuff.
You know what's fascinating? This idea pops up everywhere.
Right. And our source material, this Chinese podcast we're diving into, jumps right in. Starts with, get this, the Hopi tribe.
Okay.
They believe their ancestors actually lived underground.
Yeah.
Like tall, white-skinned, the whole bit.
It's a classic. Like so many cultures, the Hopi have these stories, right? A whole hidden world beneath us. And that's where our friend, the hollow earth theory, comes in.
I've heard of that.
Yeah, but here's the kicker. It's not some new age thing. Way back in the 1690s, Edmund Halley, the Halley's Comet guy.
No way.
Yeah, he proposed the Earth is hollow. Multiple spheres, atmospheres, maybe even inner suns.
So the comet guy thought we're living on a giant empty shell. What was he thinking?
Well, even brilliant minds, right? They get curious. Back then, who knew what was down there? It's this human fascination with the unknown. Always been there.
I guess everyone loves a good mystery. So what about today? How's this theory changed?
Oh, it's evolved. Modern version, there's a whole civilization down there. Inner sun, the works. And get this, they say there are openings at the poles, like gateways.
Okay, that's wild. But this podcast we're looking at, they actually try to prove this.
Oh, they try. They show a video, supposedly Soviet spacecraft footage, blurry thing, supposedly a hole at the South Pole.
You're kidding.
Nope. And they even point to a spot on Google Maps. Another entrance, they claim.
But come on, a blurry video, that's proof.
Exactly. It's so easy to spread this stuff, especially when it looks kind of cool, but, you can't actually check it.
Yeah, that's a red flag for sure.
Yeah.
Makes you think twice about what you see online.
It does. Always got to be critical, right? But what I find interesting, even with all the, shall we say, creative evidence, is how this theory tries to explain real mysteries, like, for instance, woolly mammoths.
Okay, yeah, mammoths, big furry elephant things in the ice.
Right, but mammoths are related to elephants, and elephants are tropical. Plus, some mammoth fossils, they've found undigested food in their stomachs, warm climate plants.
So how does a tropical animal end up frozen solid?
Well, the Hollow Earth folks have a few ideas. 1, sudden global freeze. 2, the poles shifted. And 3, you guessed it, mammoths came from inside the Earth, wandered out.
Hold up, are they saying mammoths were chilling in some tropical paradise inside the Earth?
That's the theory. And get this, they tie it into UFOs, too.
UFOs, really?
Yep, instead of outer space, what if UFOs are coming from inside the Earth? This advanced civilization, they say, maybe thousands of years ahead of us. They're zipping around in their spaceships.
So like inner Earth tourists buzzing around?
Precisely. Makes you wonder, who are these mysterious people?
Right. Where did they come from? Aliens.
They mentioned that. Maybe aliens found the surface too harsh, went underground. Or, another idea, descendants of those lost civilizations, Atlantis, that sort of thing.
Ah, lost civilizations, always a good story. But things are about to get even wilder. They bring up Admiral Richard E. Byrd.
Yeah, there's a name you don't hear every day.
Yeah, first guy to fly over both poles.
Yeah.
Right. They named that Antarctic research station after him. What's it got to do with Hollow Earth?
Well, in 1946, 1947, he leads this massive Navy expedition to Antarctica, Operation High Jump. And during this, something crazy happens. Byrd's on a solo flight vanishes for hours.
Okay, now I'm intrigued.
When he gets back, he has this unbelievable story. Flew through a weird mist, found a green valley in Antarctica, saw mammoth-like creatures, flying discs, the works.
Hold on, flying discs in Antarctica. This is too good.
And it gets better. He says he was greeted by a being, like a person, warned him about nuclear weapons.
No way. He actually talked to someone.
Supposedly. Then this being escorts him back to his plane, somehow lifts it back into the sky. Byrd reports this, but the military, they shut it down. Top secret.
Classic cover-up. But did Byrd at least write all this down?
Oh, yeah. Supposedly recorded it all in his diary. And after he dies, that diary, it becomes like the holy grail for Hollow Earth believers.
The diary, a blurry video, some Google Maps spot. It's a lot to take in. They even bring up Edward Snowden.
Yeah, Snowden claimed there are classified documents that mention the inner Earth. Of course, no one's seen these documents, but it adds fuel to the fire.
It does. But even if we entertain this, where did this civilization come from? They talk about Agartha, right?
Agartha, yeah.
Wow.
Like this legendary underground utopia, advanced tech, spirituality, the whole bit. Some even say humanity started there, not on the surface.
So we're all just escapees from paradise,
That's one version. They're down there watching us, waiting for the right moment.
like our wise, hidden overlords.
Yeah.
Okay, this is getting more and more out there, but what's the actual proof for Agartha?
Honestly, not much. It's mostly myths, interpretations of old texts, that sort of thing.
So more speculation than hard facts.
Pretty much.
But
But that's part of the fun, right? Makes you
Yeah.
think outside the box.
It does.
Uh-huh.
But we got to come back to reality a bit. Science kind of debunks all of this, doesn't it?
It does, yeah. They say the Earth can't be hollow, there's no inner sun, and no evidence for a civilization.
So what's the science behind that? Why can't the Earth be hollow?
Well, for one, those seismic waves we talked about earlier, from earthquakes. They travel through the Earth, show us its structure, and guess what?
It's solid.
Solid as a rock, no giant empty space. Plus, there's gravity. If Earth were hollow, its pull would be way different.
But less mass, less gravity. Makes sense.
And we know Earth's gravity is pretty strong, holds us down, keeps the moon in orbit, all that. And an inner sun. No way to explain that scientifically.
So science says, nope, not buying it. Does the podcast at least address that?
They try. They say maybe our science is wrong, or maybe the super advanced civilization is messing with gravity and stuff. Even bring up a diary entry from Byrd.
Wait, another diary entry? What does it say?
Well, that's where things get even more interesting. Yeah, this supposed diary entry. It's like the climax of the story, where Byrd lays it all out,
Okay, so spill the beans. What did Byrd actually write?
Well, according to this podcast, Byrd says he went into this inner Earth place, met with a master, like a leader of this whole civilization.
Whoa, hold up. He had a sit down with the big guy himself. What did they talk about?
Now, this is where it gets good. The master, he's worried about us, like about humanity using nukes.
So they're peaceful, but also kind of like, get your act together, surface dwellers.
Exactly. They see nukes as a threat to everyone, even them down there. It plays into all our fears about, blowing ourselves up.
It's like a sci-fi movie plot come to life.
Eh.
So Byrd writes this all down. Then what? Does he tell the world?
Nope, he's told to keep quiet. Military says top secret. Don't want mass panic. The usual cover-up.
Of course. But then how did this story even get out?
Well, they say Byrd's diary was found after he died, and bam, the story's out there.
Okay, so we've got a diary, a blurry video, Snowden's claims. It's a lot to digest. But even if this is real, where did these people come from? Agartha, right?
Agartha, yeah. It's this mythical city, like a utopia. Super advanced, spiritual, all that. Some even say humans originated there, not up here.
Wait, so we crawled out of some high-tech paradise.
Some believe that, and they're down there watching us, waiting to, I don't know, make their move or something.
Like our secret landlords, keeping an eye on things. This is getting wilder by the minute. But what's the proof for Agartha? Anything solid?
To be honest, not really. More like myths, old stories, interpretations of ancient stuff.
So more like a cool idea than actual fact.
Pretty much. But it's fun to think about, right? Gets those brain juices flowing.
It does. But got to bring it back down to earth, literally. The podcast actually tries to tie the Hollow Earth to other mysteries, right? Like the Bermuda Triangle.
Oh yeah, they go there. They say there might be an underwater entrance to the inner Earth in that area, that some of those ships, planes, they went through it. Even connected to Atlantis, maybe it sank and is down there.
So the Bermuda Triangle is like a portal.
Some think so. And then they bring up cryptids. Those weird creatures people say they've seen?
Oh yeah, like Bigfoot, the Loch Ness Monster, that sort of thing.
Exactly. They mention Mokele-mbembe, this dinosaur-looking thing supposedly in the Congo.
I've heard of that one. So they're saying these creatures might be coming from inside the earth.
Yep, like maybe there's this whole ecosystem down there, prehistoric stuff that survived.
A lost world, hidden away. But how would anything even live down there? No sun, right?
Well, remember that inner sun they talk about? That's their explanation. It's providing light, energy, the whole shebang.
So sometimes these creatures wander out. That's why people see them.
That's the idea. Far-fetched, but hey, it's a theory. It does make you wonder, if this civilization's so advanced, why haven't they contacted us?
Yeah, why all the secrecy?
The podcast has a few ideas. One, maybe they're waiting for us to evolve a bit, spiritually, technologically.
So like, we're not ready for the big leagues yet.
Something like that. Or maybe they're watching us, seeing if we're a threat. Remember, they warned Byrd about those nukes.
No, they've seen what we can do. Probably not impressed.
Maybe not. So
Yeah.
they stay hidden just to be safe. Or, maybe they just don't care.
Ouch. Why would they think we're so boring?
Well, they say these inner Earth folks are so advanced, we're like ants to them. Just not that interesting.
That's a humbling thought. But regardless, this idea of them being down there is pretty wild.
It is. But they don't stop there. The podcast actually links this to some popular conspiracy theories, like the New World Order, the Illuminati, that stuff.
Oh boy, here we go. Conspiracy theories can get a bit crazy.
They can. But it's interesting how they connect them to Hollow Earth. Like, these groups, they know about the inner Earth, maybe even working with them.
Wait, secret societies collaborating with an underground civilization? What's the point?
That's where it gets really murky. Some say they want to control the world, suppress technology, all sorts of things. But it's mostly speculation, no real proof.
Sounds like a movie plot. But I guess these theories, they tap into something, right? Why do people believe them?
I think it's about control. The world feels chaotic, and these theories, they offer an explanation, someone to blame.
Makes sense. But we got to be careful with that stuff, right?
Yes.
It's easy to get lost in it.
Definitely. Critical thinking is key. So we've got myths, theories, diaries, even conspiracies. It's a lot.
It is. But we can't ignore the science. It pretty much debunks the whole Hollow Earth thing.
Right, it does. We've had fun with the stories, but gotta face reality.
So remind us again, why can't the Earth be hollow?
Well, those seismic waves we talked about, they show the Earth's solid, no big empty space.
Right. No room for a hidden civilization.
Plus, gravity wouldn't work that way, and the inner sun, no scientific explanation for that.
So science says case closed. Does the podcast acknowledge that?
They do. But they try to argue around it, say maybe our science is wrong or that inner Earth tech is messing with things. Even bring up, you guessed it, another alleged Byrd diary entry.
Seriously, another one. Okay, what does this one say?
Well, buckle up because this is where things take a turn. This one's a doozy. Byrd describes meeting this master again, says he was taken to this amazing city, crystal buildings, advanced tech, the works.
Wow, like a futuristic utopia.
Exactly. And Byrd, he gets this message, a warning, really, about the dangers of, greed, materialism, all that.
Sounds familiar. Like a lot of those spiritual awakening messages going around.
Right. It's interesting how this theory, it kind of reflects our anxieties about, the state of the world.
Totally. We're worried about climate change, wars, technology taking over. Maybe this hollow Earth, it's like a projection of our desire for a better world, a place where things are more balanced.
I think you're onto something there. It's like this longing for a hidden paradise, a place untouched by the problems of the surface world.
It's a powerful idea for sure. Yeah. And, it makes me think about all those other stories we hear, not just Hollow Earth, but like parallel universes, alternate realities, that kind of thing.
Yeah, it's all connected, isn't it? This fascination with what might be out there beyond our perception.
Like, what if there are other versions of ourselves living different lives in other dimensions? What if consciousness isn't limited to just this physical reality?
Mind-blowing stuff. And who knows, maybe someday science will catch up and we'll discover that some of these ideas, as crazy as they sound now, are actually closer to the truth than we ever imagined.
I'd love to see that. But even if it stays in the realm of speculation, exploring these ideas, it's good exercise, right? Keeps the mind sharp.
Absolutely. It makes you question your assumptions, think outside the box, and that's never a bad thing.
Well said. So I guess that about wraps up our deep dive into the Hollow Earth. It's been quite a ride.
It has. From ancient myths to modern conspiracies, it's amazing how this theory has persisted over time.
It really shows the power of stories, how they can capture our imagination and make us question the world around us. And who knows, maybe someday we'll find out that there's more to this planet than meets the eye.
Maybe there is. But for now, we'll have to leave the mysteries of the Hollow Earth to our imaginations.
And on that note, thanks for joining us for this deep dive. We'll see you next time as we explore more fascinating and mind-bending mysteries.